Hey everybody, time again to do some retro active daily targets from CSSBattle.dev. CSS Battle is a great site that I enjoy a lot, where you can do challenges to create you to use HTML and CSS to replicate the look and feel of particular images. In this case, we've got this. I don't know. Is it two hallways? Is it just a abstract pattern? I don't know, but purple and yellow. And then this one is this interesting grid that's at a 45-degree, well, canted at an angle. And then we've got an X, letter X that's got some look to it. I guess I won't comment on what I think it was. In 2023, that's not what it was. All good. So, or I don't think it was. Maybe it was. I don't care. Anyway, let's replicate these shapes. It'll be fun. All right. So I always try to think about what is this shape. What can we do? What is this? I've got the blank template that I'm going to run here. I feel like the start of it is the tricky parts are the circles, so let's start with the circles. And I think that I'm going to just go on the body here and start with a purple circle. I think that's what I want first. So I want a radial gradient that's a circle. I think it could be an oval. 40% and transparent. There's a circle. All right, so what do we need to do to make this be a repeating gradient? Well, we need it to have a position, and that position doesn't change it because at present this has a size of auto, which is the size of the container, in this case the body, which is 400 in wide and 300 tall. So if we make it less wide, then we get that. We get a replication, and I think that to place that, so that's currently. So let's make this a color. So that's repeating now. If I do no repeat, then I can see exactly what it is. If I do repeat X, it repeats on the X-axis, and that's the same. If I do repeat Y, that means it's repeating up and down, but because that doesn't mean anything and we can't see it, we're not able to scroll, we don't see it. So no repeat is more characters than repeat Y or repeat X, and so that's the trick. Not really a trick for that, but it also helps us see what is this. So I would like to line this up so that this only goes to what, 250? So I guess 250. We get this little gauge here that shows you how many characters over it is. So I guess it's 250. 250. And is that more like 35%? 36, 37, 38. I don't know. Presuming that's centered on the y-axis, but maybe not. So at 0, okay, and that changes the sizing because of the way the algorithm works. Using percentages is a little trickier. So let's do 50%. Let's do 100 pixels. A radius 50, 60, 70, 80, 70, maybe 75, and then move that over 30. That does it. So now if I remove the repeat, that might be there. We'll take that for sure. So that's the start. Next is the yellow, and then we still need the yellow on top and bottom, but that's the easy part. So the next part will be another radial gradient, which is another circle starting at yellow, and I don't have any compunction about, is that it? I don't have the compunction about the sizing or the at or using percentages in this case, so that might be fine. And then the last is a linear gradient that starts at yellow and goes to purple. And you can see that. So that's a nice gradient. That's the gradient. You know, we think of gradients as things that are across a spectrum. Like we think about it, like the word gradient is used in so many different contexts, particularly in science, and you know, something is transitioning to another. And so we're used to thinking of that as, well, that's an even gradation. But it can just as easily be a sharp gradation, and the sharp one here is what, probably at 50%, 0, and then there's your gradient. So I think that's a match. Let's see if we get 100%. If it's off by a few pixels, then we'll see, nope, we're not, so that's fine. We'll shrink that down, minify, and resubmit, and we're done. We replicated that shape. It's really kind of fun to be able to deploy, and that's a new record, so I've done this before, but I think that my new approach, doing this as I do habitually, I keep getting better at it, and it's incrementally better, and this is one that I've done several solutions for. The first time I did it, how did I do it? I almost don't want to look. But that was November of 2023. Here, let's load that code just for fun. And it's very much a similar thing. I wasn't using repeat though, and I was using the keyword transparent rather than a 4-digit number. So hex colors, right, can be 6, so it's the R red component, the G component, and B component, and you can do that represented in 3 numbers. So R, that's F, so that's what, 16, G, B. Now, if you add an additional number, that's the alpha, and that's saying, hey, that's completely transparent. Now you can do that F, O, but the O negates it. But secretly inside the code, that's really red, but it's got no, if the alpha is 100% or the opacity is 0%, that's probably is the more correct way to think of that, and so you don't see it. So that's a little bit of that. Yeah, I know you know what a hex color is, but too late, I explained it. All right, okay, next. This guy. Is this 3 gradients? Is it 2? Let's find out. So I think this is all on the body again, probably. So in theory, we could use an element and then, you know, rotate it. Transform, rotate 45 degrees, right? You can do things with that, but that's not very great. So let's use linear gradients at an angle. And we don't need a paragraph tag, and we don't need margins either. So let's start with a linear gradient. And we'll just start at an arbitrary 45-degree angle. And we'll go transparent to red, to red, again, talking about gradients, 40%, 0. I'm going to try and use percentages where I can, if I can align things. So the transparent to start, and then I want to pick up that red. So I'm, in this case, start transparent, so that's this bottom left corner, that's from the 45-degree angle. It's very hard to keep in mind. I'm thinking about making myself a little guide, like on a whiteboard or a piece of paper, like, oh, the various angles that you're coming from. Haven't done that yet. That's all right. Okay, so 30%, 28%, nope, 28%, 28, 27, 28, 29, 28.5%, 27.5%. 6, 7, 8. I don't like any of those numbers. 50 pixels, how about that? How about 100 pixels? 10, 20, 30, 130, 135, 136, 37, 38, 36. We still might be obliged to do a 0.5. Yeah, that looks right. Irritating, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little irritating. Let's add another number. Let's go a little further. 50 pixels, comma. 156, 7, 68, 69, 68, 67.5. That looks not too bad. All right, let's add the red again, or I guess this is more of a hot pink, something like that. 180 pixels. We need to go way big. 220, 320, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 7, 1.5. Yeah, that looks. So I'm really trying to align. I'm using the diff algorithm here to try and match that perfectly. Okay, next. 340 pixels. And then we need a transparent. 40, 50, 60, 55, 56, 57.5. Yeah, weird numbers, but they are working, aren't they? Yeah, they are. So because this is so symmetrical, we might be able to reuse this to minus. Yeah, we sure can. Kind of kooky there. Yeah, we'll take that. All right. So what's the next step? Really, it's mostly yellow. All I need to do is fill in these red spots, right? So what can I do to fill that in? So if this is a rectangle, I might be able to do it with that. So, and actually I could use an oval or a circle centered here and then moved over. So let's do that on top because that's going to be a little tricky. Let's do a radial gradient because you know, it's all angular. Let's use a radial gradient anywhere because who cares? It's fun. Circle. I'm going to do circle. I don't know if that's correct. Probably not. And then do that 40%. No, 10%. We already discovered this is probably a mistake. Okay. And then no, probably not. So we need it to repeat, so that we need that same trick again. 0, 0. And then is that width like 300 pixels? Let's put the background on. And in this case, I'm going to actually use RGBA color because I would like to see what's going on there. So I'm going to do 0, 0, 0, 0.4. So, and then a no repeat. So that's the color. So we got a translucency here, which I guess would also be what. Is this also? I'm inviting fate, just being cute here. 4, yeah, that works. So that's the same essential look. All right. So 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, 40. And let's make that a little bigger and then move that circle over. Actually, no, we can. Five, 6, 4, 5, no, minus 100. 30, 40, 50, 60. That seems to cover the whole of it. So I'm going to make this transparent again and let it repeat. Not quite. All right, so let's put that 4 back. So not wide enough. Does that mean... Oh, because this is the repeat. Yeah, so I got that wrong. That's fine. Let's do this at 0, 0, or just 0 in this case, and we'll do the at 0. I think that we need it to be at like 20 pixels, right? At 40 pixels, something like that. Do we still need to move it over? One of those cases where I want to use percentages there, but it alters the way this works, and so it becomes a little bit of a pain. And then if we repeat, do we get just a partial circle? Yeah, we do. So I think that means we need to do 25 pixels, or rather at 50 pixels, and then move. So that's good. 5, 6, and then move this over minus 10 pixels. Not so much a plan, but we're getting there. I would like this to feel more coherent, but it's very improvisational, and that's not my favorite thing. 7, well, no, I enjoy it, but there we go. So there's our sizing. So let's make this transparent again. And rather than transparent, we'll make it the yellow, and I think we got it. Oh, no, wrong. Oh, well, yes. We want this to be underneath everything. Why? Because we have that nice lattice work. And I think that we have a match. So that's kind of a weird way to do that one. Well, I don't know if it's weird. It's a way to do it. That's 100%. Not as good as whatever my best was. All of these numbers, is there a way to turn those into variable? Because they are the same numbers. This set of numbers is the same. But can I, because I need to change the angle of it, can I do it as it? I don't know if I can. Like, is that a valid value for a CSS? And I've got it under the background here, so maybe. So can I set that as a CSS custom variable, that --g, and then go var g? Turns out I can. So that's kind of wild. I don't think I've ever tried that before. If I have, I've forgotten it. So that's a nice way. That's an optimization. That's a nice optimization. Let's resubmit and make sure that we're still. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be still in good shape, but you know, you gotta double check your work. Double and triple check your work always, because it's the small changes that get you. The ones that you think, oh, this is not a big change, and then the software breaks. That's a fun one. I enjoyed that. Fun learning that the sub part of a mere list of colors and color stops can constitute a valid CSS variable. So that's terrific. All right, not my best solution. Or no, it is my best solution. So that's great. It's a new record. Okay, so that's better than I've done before. More learning. We love to learn. Oh, the X. All right. Yeah. This I remember this being a pain. I think I did it with some of the first times I did it with divs and a lot of hemming and hawing. But I think that the right approach again is to use again. All backgrounds on whatever element we're putting the backgrounds on. So let's see what that looks like. So I zeroed out the blank template, but maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to do, let's do that, and then make this a solid color, and we'll do all of our changes on the element itself. All of our, and in this case we will do linear gradients. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 59, and then that height is got to be different. 210, 209, and that width is incorrect. Width is incorrect. So okay, so that means so are there any wins to be gotten from a symmetry, right? So we just showed that we could do different angled things, but I don't think that we will be able to do that because I think that the middle, yeah, so the inner part of this X is probably highly similar to the inner part of this in terms of distance from the sides, but we can't reuse that, so we won't. Okay, so 50. So that's not too bad. Is it worth it to make this, what, 45, 55, 56? Yeah. All right. So this is the canvas on which we will do this X. So let's start with what we know is going to work. Let's do, okay, so what are the pieces that we need? And what do we want to do first? I'd like to do the negatives. Oh, so I want to do a clip path. Clip path 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 points. I'm not super excited about that. And then we still have the inner parts, and we're still going to be obliged to do inner gradients on that. I mean, we could do border. That would let us do a border. There are other kinds of masks that we could use, but we still end up having to make a polygon, and that just doesn't seem. It's not on the fun side for me. Let's say that. So let's. So the order matters here. I will start. Damn the torpedoes. Let's do a linear gradient. So one approach is to avoid adding, to let as much of the background to shine through as possible. Otherwise you end up confusing yourself around what's back there. So setting a pink here would let us do that, but I'll start by simply doing a linear gradient that's at what, minus 45 degrees. I probably have that wrong, as I was just saying, and I think that excuse me, that 45 might be the wrong number anyway. We'll do transparent, and you know that's less characters anyway. 40%, and then blue. So and then going to undo this default color. There we go. So that's kind of what I'm intending. Let's adjust these numbers and see if we can get the that one lined up correctly. 30, no, 30, 40, 50, and 60, 48, 49, 50, 48, 47, 48.5, 6, 7. So 48.7%. Is that better than what? 100 pixels? Whatever it is, 200 pixels? Not really. It's not better. So let's do 180 pixels. 170. 1, 2, 3. And that lines up perfectly, so we'll take that. But maybe we'll try for 6, 5, 4, 4.5, 0.6, 0.4, 0.3. Let's make that pixels too. 97, 6, 7, 8, no, 6, wrong direction, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3. Oh, I have to do a percentage. So that was no good. So 60%. So I was going to have to do a point, a decimal as part of the pixel value. So why not do it on the percent value? And these numbers don't stay with me. .3%. Okay, so that's our first part. The next part is going to be in opposition to that and needs to be on top of it because that middle color has to stay. Additionally, we still are going to have the problem of the top parts of the X that enclose this space. So even so, okay, so let's add a comma. So that's just the same again, and that's not what we want. Or no, that is what we want, isn't it? But we need the color to be like that. So that's intriguing. Oh, and it's not exactly the same anyway. So if we just flop it, it's not symmetrical because the shape is just slightly offset because of the width of the different crossbars of the X. All right, so what do we need to do here? We need blue, or this deep color, this blackish, whatever that color is, comma. And let's so we want to, there we go. All right. So we're just going to take it one number at a time. So we're coming from the bottom left corner. 48, 47, 48, 49. Okay. And actually, those are different numbers. Can we use percentages? Why not? Let's do it all twice and 3 times. 35, 36, 30. No. 40. Okay, so I'm confusing myself about where I am. 3. Okay. So that helps me see what it is, the numbers that I'm altering. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 40, 41, 42, 21, 2, 3, 1.8, 41.8%. So is that better as a pixel number? 41.8. Actually, that's not a bad number. We're going to take it because I think we need what? We need 3 numbers and then pixels anyway. So that's fine. 48.8% is great. Okay, so next. So that's the transparent part is the 41.8, and then up to 43, and then let's put a 0 in place, so that's a hard edge. And let's increase that number. 4, 5, 6, 7, 48, and that's over. 47 is under 0.5. Okay. And then we need the same again, 0, and then 50%. 51, 52, 53, 53 looks right. It's close anyway. We'll probably have to tweak these numbers because that's how it works. Okay. What do I need next? What do I need next? I've lost track of what I need. Okay. This is clearly a tricky figure, right? One of the battles is actually the logo to CSS Battle, and that was a particularly hellacious one. I don't remember if that was on a battle or on a daily challenge, but it's a lot of moving parts. I don't know if I'll be any faster these days because there's so many different parts. All right, so stay on task, Joe. Here we go. 0, 60%, and then make that a hard edge, and then we just adjust. We adjust that number. 58, 57, 58, 59.2, 58.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see those faint lines? Those are going to be the death of us here. But we have managed with 2 linear gradients and very specific colors to replicate this design. You know, would this be easier as an SVG? Yeah, if you can just draw, and export to SVG and put it in your design. Yeah, that's great. But this is not a lot of code. It's pretty good. What are you going to do? Lots of ways to do things. All right. And I think that I hemmed and hawed. One thing that I could do is by changing the size of this background. So I could make, you know, if I punch that out, I still need to cover it, but if I do this same linear gradient again and then change the height and width of it and then don't repeat it, maybe that's a good solution. Let's try that. What could go wrong? All right, so I'm going to plop this in, comma, and rather than I'm just damn the torpedoes on this guy. So 41, and then okay. So now I'm making this transparent here and having the red be the only thing left. So what did I just do? Well, I'll show you. That's what that is now. Now, if I set that at 0, 0, and then make the height of that, I'll make the width 100%, and the height something less than 209, maybe it's 180 pixels, then it starts to repeat, and I need a no repeat or a repeat Y or a repeat X. That's not too bad. Oh, repeat X will work because it's 100% wide. And then I move that into place. Maybe this is a cleaner way to do it. It doesn't feel organic to me. I like to work out to in and then place, place, place. And so this kind of surgical placement of this beige, whatever that color, I don't know what that color is, brownish, doesn't feel like my first choice. But it's hard to deny that that might be the correct shape. Okay, so let's, and by changing the height of that, so let's, what, 20 pixels? And then that's too tall, I think, or not tall enough. Not too bad. You got the idea. I think we're good on the top, so that's a good sign. And so if we make this less tall, 17, 169, and then move that over a little. No, over to -2, -1. Ooh. Something about these percentages is different now. So which part we're starting there? Okay, so that means that we need to adjust this number. 52, 53, 54, 53.1, 52, 53, 54, 55. When it's getting fainter, we're happy. All right, so that's fainter. So I might have it. So 3 linear gradients. I thought that there might be a conic gradient here. That's 100% match, and we're going to take it. We're going to get out while we're getting this good, because that is a visual match. I'm content with that. An interesting way to do it, to me. Surprising even myself, which is enjoyable, right? Like that's the joy of this, to the extent there is joy. That's the joy of it. So let's submit and see if that's complete. And what the high score is, and that is a new high score. So I'm doing better than ever. Surprisingly, it felt like doing this in the moment and improvisationally would not reap benefits, but it seems like when I redo these, I even if I'm coming at them fresh, I am doing better technique. So my technique is improved, and that's the goal, right? If you write CSS for a living, to learn more of it. There's so much. It's so expressive. It's such an expressive language. So there's so much in it, even though we are limited to, we're not really limited to, a certain subset. Like these, we're never going to do an animation, right, in a CSS battle, right? These things don't move, and that would be trickier to do anyway. But maybe you could. That might be an interesting product idea. It sounds hard to deal with, but could be fun. I don't know. Now I'm just talking. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. This was definitely fun for me. I hope it was fun for you too. All right. Have a great day.